This presentation will combine historical and biographical information about the early Christian martyr, Saint Perpetua, with passages from her own visions. Those combine accounts of her martyrdom with glimpses of the Christian afterlife. You'll be asked to pause and review select slides throughout, so please proceed with that point in mind. Here's some basic biographical information about Perpetua. Born into relative privilege, she embraced Christianity in young adulthood and became known as one of the first noteworthy martyrs. Her life corresponded with the earliest stages of the empire's decline. Just 22 years old at the time of her martyrdom, she left in her diary a record of those experiences, and especially her accounts of her dream visions that captivated later generations and contributed greatly to the evolution of Christian theology. Please take a moment to review the information on this slide. In iconic representations, Perpetua is often paired with an imprisoned cohort, the pregnant slave Felicity, who is also elevated to saintly status as a Christian martyr. Because of her literate background and privileged access to education, Perpetua ultimately embraced the faith in young adulthood. Considered a criminal offense, this gesture resulted in her imprisonment after a declaration of that faith, where her diary begins the recording of her passions, or the process of her martyrdom. This next pair of slides offers first-hand accounts of Perpetua's passions, recorded in her diary and preserved for the benefit of history. Please take a moment to review both as you prepare to take in the larger account of her martyrdom in this week's reading. The term catechumen refers to somebody on the brink of conversion, so you'll run across this term in these two next slides. In her influential account of her second vision, she perceives her unconverted brother Dinocrates, who had died from illness some years earlier, wallowing as a lost soul in a dark underworld. With his proximity to her, he can apprehend relief in a waterfall, often some in the distance, but as one of the unconverted, he is unable to partake of that relief. Please take a moment to review this account. Here's an effort to interpret that vision, one that speaks to the power of continuous prayer, even for the unconverted. That reading is a fairly traditional take on this iconic episode from the accounts of early Christianity. Here's another one of her visions, one that she experienced on the brink of her own martyrdom. Here she receives and articulates a message of strength and comfort, and the need to maintain one's steadfast faith, even in the face of unspeakable pain and suffering. Finally, here are some points about Perpetua's enduring legacy as an early and perhaps the first Christian woman writer. Her record's survival represents something of a miracle in its own right. As the final comments demonstrate, her accounts continue to engender enduring interest and even controversy. I hope that you enjoy reading her visions in this week's reading, and that you found this presentation informative and engaging.